Well, it's good to be with you this evening, Barry.
Thank you.
And it's good to be with you out there.
Yes.
This is our second attempt at our first session of We Make the Road by Walking. We had a few technical glitches, but that's to be expected because we're learning how to do this. And we're so glad that you're with us and sticking with us and helping us improve. We do have really good content for you. And so we'd like to get started. And the way to get started is, I'd like to tell a story.
Hey, for sure.
And it is about making the road by walking. I mean, have you ever had one of those experiences where you're just going on in life and all of a sudden, it's like the life you knew is no longer there. It's no longer there.
Yeah, I can remember it as you thought.
Yeah? And so it's like you don't have a way of figuring out what to do next, and so you actually make the road by walking. And I'm thinking of a time, it was my first pastorate in Honolulu, and I had been there 4 years, and we were looking at the next 4 years, and so it was a discernment time, and things were going really well, and the Sunday school was going well, we had great Bible groups, the church was going well, and the discernment was going well, but then I had a dream. And that dream, during that process, was that I was up on a trapeze, and it was like, it was over there, you know, the bar, and I didn't want to go over there, you know. And this voice told me, let go. So I can do something new. And I go, okay. And I did, and I caught the bar, which was amazing. And I woke up in the morning, and I go, was that God trying to tell me something to let go of what I'm familiar with, what's going well? Would that be God? I wasn't sure. So I stuck with it for a while and just mulled it over.
Stuck with the job?
Stuck with the discernment process. You know, it's like, is this God or is this just a very interesting dream?
Yeah.
And so I continued praying and I started looking for signs. And after about 10 days, I go, no, I think this really is of God. Well, I didn't have another position to go to. That was it. And I have never quit a position without having something to go to.
Yeah, the wisdom is don't do that.
Yeah, the wisdom, yes. Do you have something? Then you stay where you are. But I really thought that was of God. And so I said, no, I will not be seeking to renew my time here. Even though it was going really well. And when that happened, I said, okay, God, if this is of you, I need to know more. I need to know of you and feel you with me. So I actually went on a retreat where it was just me and God. And it was on the mainland. And it was 30 days.
30 days.
Of silence. Of silence. It was. It was. And when I got there, and it was, the whole thing was just to be with God, to see what would be revealed. And when I got there, one of the first things I did was to walk the labyrinth that they had there. And it was November, and we're talking the San Francisco area. So it was cold.
Pretty chilly.
And it's November. And as I start walking this labyrinth, I kid you not, this butterfly comes up and actually stays right here as I continue to walk around and around and around, and it stays with me. And I get to the center of the labyrinth, and I sit, and I'm in prayer, and truly that butterfly came and sat on my shoulder.
Yep, that has to be a sign.
I had no words for it except to notice it. And then when I got up to go out of the labyrinth, and this was on the first day I was there, the butterfly left.
Just about, yeah. Job over.
But I felt so reassured.
I can see why.
You know, that was a butterfly of new life.
Mm-hmm.
And there it was in November when I didn't expect it.
Yeah.
With me.
Mm-hmm.
And at the beginning of my retreat, and I just felt so reassured that yes, I was where God wanted me to be.
Yeah, that's pretty wonderful.
And so through that 30 days, without all the distractions and the noise of, everyday life, things got sharper into focus.
Mm.
The trees got greener.
Mm.
And the outlines, it's like I wear glasses, I've got really bad eyesight, but it was, in comparison, it was like, wow, things are so sharply defined. I was amazed at that. And my ears, I could hear, it's like the sound of silence, and my ears got so big, it was like Dumbo ears. I felt like I had Dumbo ears that I was really taking in so much. It was phenomenal. And what I got from that whole 30 days with God was reassurance that God is with me. And a nudging to say, look for me in your daily walk. Seek me in your daily walk.
In your daily walk.
Yes. And I also got the message that there is real peace when you're with me, regardless of what is going on. There is peace here. Because it was a profound, deep peace that I'd never experienced before.
Peace beyond understanding.
Yes, that's what Jesus said.
All understanding.
Exactly. So when I left there, I'm expecting, okay, what's next, God? What's next?
Right.
I had to wait 18 months. And I
figures.
took little side trips and side jobs and things like that, but I never doubted.
Even during that time.
Did not doubt. And I really feel like that 30 days was preparing me for a faith walk. Not, I'm taking my time here with you, now you give to me. Do you see what I'm saying? It would be really easy to expect that after my 30 days was over, that there would be a pastorate or a job waiting for me.
Right.
Because you've done your good deed.
Yeah.
But there wasn't. It went for like 18 months.
That makes sense to me. That's often it seems how God operates, so to speak.
Is to extend the time of waiting.
To not do what we expect.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Or what we think you ought to do.
Yes, exactly. What we think.
Okay, I'm done now. Where's my job?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Okay. I'm ready. Thank you very much.
Exactly.
Nice being with you.
Nice being with you.
Right.
Yep. So basically, then out of that, I did gain a whole lot. And I think that it's very much about what this book is about, that we make the road by walking, because it wasn't me planning. Once I said yes to God, then it was an adventure. It didn't happen.
That's pretty incredible. Yeah.
But at the end of that 18 months is when I got called to Hawaii, and that was 10 years ago.
Yeah. And you've been here and happy, pretty much. So
Yes, absolutely.
I feel like this is where you're supposed to be.
Yes, where God sent.
Walking with God.
Walking with God in God's time, in God's way. That's exactly right. Yeah.
God's time.
Yeah. So what I'm really hoping is that for us,
right,
and for our viewers and our class, that they'll have such a profound experience with God over our time together and be surprised by God, but to not just love God more deeply, but to fall in love with God.
That's nicely put. Yeah, that's very nicely put. That's a good hope. I believe it can happen.
Yes. And so we are taking those first steps tonight.
Okay.
Yes.
I believe it can happen.
So, would you like to continue us
Well, sure. Komo mai, in other words, welcome, like she said, here on Kauai to our class. We have a online class, and we want to welcome you all. We have some folks here with us now in person. We welcome you as well. I want to introduce our facilitators, Angus and Nick, and they are amazing. None of this would be happening without them, and we're learning as we go. And all of us are learning, but they're the ones who are making it happen. Our technicians, Phyllis and I, are the facilitators of this. I'm very privileged to be here with Phyllis. She asked me to do this, and I said I would, and I had no idea. Again, that it was going to be like it is. So I don't think too much about the future. I just say, what do you want me to do, and I'll do it. So we're having a good time, and I'm very happy. Thank you. And once again, I want to thank you all so much for being with us. It's going to be great.
Yes,
Okay.
it is. Because the Spirit is with us.
Absolutely.
You know, and so when we give ourselves over,
Yeah.
it's an adventure to remember.
There's no telling what God's going to do.
Exactly. No, I think that's exactly it. We have no idea what God's going to do in our time together.
It's going to be crazy, maybe.
Yeah. So before we continue on, I think it's really important to thank our benefactors who making this possible.
Mm-hmm.
We want to thank the Episcopal Diocese of Hawaii for partially funding this exploration into online classes, discussions for here in Kauai. We want to also thank the Sloggett Family Foundation for partially funding it, and for St. Michael's and All Angels Episcopal Church for hosting this and giving us a good foundation and encouragement. And we also want to thank our donors who voluntarily give us donations to see that we can continue.
Right,
so
absolutely.
We're so grateful. We really are.
Absolutely. Here's what we're going to be doing tonight in this particular session. We're going to be talking about the book, of course. We make the road by walking. We're going to talk about the organization of the class as a whole. We're going to be talking about the technology, and we'll actually begin some of the class with some content, the preface and the introduction. And we're going to introduce as well how you can give us feedback after every single session. It's very important that we get that, and Phyllis will be talking more about how that actually happens.
Okay, very good. Well, at the beginning of each session, where we have all things working, we'll start out with a little bit of music so you can get settled in. We'll even have a song that's We Make the Road by Walking song. We'll have a theme song. And then when we actually start the class, we're going to greet one another in God's presence. So I will, either I or Barry will say, "The living God is with us," and you'll respond,
"And with all creation."
And that is just to put us in the Spirit of God and His whole creation and asking Him to be with us. And Barry, would you open us in prayer right
I'll do
now?
it. I sure will. Living God who is with us and with all creation, we thank you that we're able to be here in your creation, in this place, in this time, tonight, right here with each other, with you, with everyone who's here with us online or wherever. And so, once again, thank you.
Amen. We'd like to give you a little overview of the course this evening. And one is to let you know what the texts and the materials are. Barry's already mentioned we have this book, this text, We Make the Road by Walking, by Brian McLaren. We'll also be using our Bibles each time. And you are welcome, please, to use your Bible. We're going to be using the New Revised Standard Version and the Common English Bible. So if you would like to share what we're using, I invite you to get that Bible, either one of those Bible versions. We also want to let you know how you can get a copy of this book. We're going to have some more books come in for $11 that you can purchase them from us. You can also go on Amazon, and for, I believe, $9.99, you can get the Kindle version, or you can get the paperback version for a little more than that. So, and then besides the text, the Bible, we also invite you to consider keeping a journal. throughout your time with us, that there are going to be things that you want to reflect on, perhaps some things that you want to wrestle with. And it might be based on things that you've read, things in the Bible, or even how you saw God show up in your daily life. So we'd like to invite you to consider keeping a journal during our time together. And it'll sort of pique your memory in terms of participating with us.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the texts that we'll be using, and who he's trying to reach, and we'd like to let you know that so that you can invite others, is that McLaren has written this book for people of today, people who are too busy. We can all say that.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us can say that.
Too busy, what do you mean?
Too busy, too involved. I don't have time to go to class. I've got too many responsibilities. I don't drive at night. I really can't get out.
Okay.
And so McLaren has made that available so that it is easy to digest. It doesn't mean that it's simple, but he's got it in bite-sized pieces. So you'll find the chapters very short, but that doesn't mean they're not penetrating, because they really are.
And I'm glad that you're putting it that way, because if it's less like easy, and you can do it simply, then maybe it's not really doing anything. But you're saying it is doing something, and it is penetrating.
It is.
All right.
Yes, it's not building up a bank of knowledge. It's about developing a deep relationship with God.
Experience.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. And
Okay.
reflecting on our lives. It's what we're calling grounded theology, which means that it's not about doctrine.
Right.
It's not about systematics that a lot of people don't even know what that is.
I have no idea.
But grounded theology is about starting with your life.
All right.
And about your relationship, your desire to build or to nurture a deeper and more living, alive relationship with God in Christ.
Okay.
And so we do that. That's what we'll be doing here.
All right.
Okay. Brian has developed this into 4 sections.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually, he intended for this to be over an entire year. And it coincides with the church year. So his first, it's part 4 quarters in a year.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is being alive in God's creation. And the second one is being alive in the life of Jesus, in the adventure of Jesus, not the life of Jesus, the adventure of Jesus. Doesn't that bring it alive just using those words? And the third quarter is about alive in the global uprising.
Yes.
Oh.
The
Yes.
global uprising.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. And then
All right.
it is very much about, the last quarter is about being alive in the Spirit. And that's about how you and I catch the Spirit of Jesus to bring his message alive in who we are in the world,
Right.
which is much more than about what we say about Jesus. It's about who we are in the Spirit.
Right.
Okay, so actually, because of the way it is organized, and we are in the Pentecost season,
Mm-hmm.
we're not going to start at the front of the book.
Mm-hmm.
We're actually going to be starting with part 4, which is alive in the Spirit of God. We're actually going to be starting with chapter 40.
40.
Yes.
Okay.
See, I told you the old life is gone. The new life comes. We don't even start at the beginning of the book.
No.
Yeah, so just to let you know that that this is what coincides with the Pentecost season.
That's good. 40. All right.
Yeah. So why don't you? Would you like to tell us a little bit about how this course is organized?
Very briefly. The course is a modular kind of thing. In other words, each session you might consider a module, and it's in and out, and in and out sort of thing. That also means that it can be a drop-in affair if you'd like. It'll work better for you if you don't just drop in whenever you want. You could be consistent because the conversation continues from one time to the next. And if you miss a conversation, you'll be missing all kinds of things that went on then. So if at all possible, I try to make each session make a commitment to do that. There'll be handouts and notes through the website, the ReSource website, or through email. And we'll be meeting every other week on Hawaii Standard Time.
Hawaii Standard Time,
on
very
Tuesdays.
good. Yes.
I still have to struggle with Hawaii Standard Time on the mainland. However, I'll depend on Phyllis. We're having a strange thing happen this month with the schedule, though, in the meetings. Sorry, I couldn't get it. She told me earlier, we're going to meet
every other week. That's all you have to
That's
know.
all I have to know.
And so we're meeting tonight on the 17th. The next time we meet is going to be on the 31st. That's all you need to know. And then 2 weeks after that is June 14th. We can do this. And then it's June 28th. Yes, we can. We can do this.
Thank you. All right.
Okay.
Technology, you're up.
Oh, well,
Over to
technology,
you.
yes. Technology, you can see, we're learning as we go. And what is really good is that you're part of it. You're part of helping us learn, helping us become reliable, seeing all the nitty-gritty things that sometimes we overlook. But we will begin to get not just practice, but we'll begin to get skilled in it. And we absolutely value your being part of this and giving us your feedback.
Yep, we need it.
We need it each time we meet, because when we get your feedback, we will do our best to act on it right away. And if not, we'll let you know why we can't act on it right away.
We might not want to. But we will, one way or the other.
Okay, so there are 3 ways that you can participate, and actually we're setting up all 3 ways tonight. Is that we have our in-class sessions. You're welcome to join us anytime at St. Michael's in the Gooddale Conference Center. You can join us online. We did start that this evening, and we had a communication glitch, a technology glitch, and so that was dropped. But you see, we've got a backup plan, which is that you can still join us remotely at your convenience because we are archiving all of these. So
they'll be on the website.
And we'll be on the website. So Barry and I are having a session just for you folks remotely where the technology would cut off. We didn't want you to miss out on a session, so here we are for you. Okay. Barry.
Yes.
Would you tell us why you think Brian McLaren wrote this book?
Yep, it's all in the preface. When I was in seminary, I learned to read books, the preface and the last chapter. Because we didn't have time for anything else. But no, seriously. A lot happens in the preface and the introduction. Of course, it lays out what's going to happen. But what he brings out mainly in the preface that I got out of it is that he believes there's, and what others believe too, that there's what he calls an emergence going on, a new understanding of God and Spirit, and that we can be involved in that, and that we should be involved because the future doesn't happen to us, he writes. We happen to the future. We make the future happen. We participate in how it happens unless we don't. We just go along and it happens to us. But he's saying that with God's Spirit with us, and all this going on, that we can be a part of this emergence and we'll be walking towards it, and we're all walking together, because he urges that you form small groups of any sort, really, in any kind of place, in schools, in nursing homes, in prisons even, in churches, all right, or at home, and you go through the book. He said just read it through like you would any book. Read one of the chapters or one of the sections, and then there are questions at the end to engage you. He said do them or don't do them, whatever you feel like. But the idea again is to work with this and see what it says to you, and then to talk it over with people together.
Wonderful. So now let's give a little attention to what he hopes to accomplish with this book. And McLaren notes, like a lot of people, that there's sort of, not only are people too busy, and they find themselves, it's like, so how's it going? Oh, I'm really busy. Oh, how's it going? Oh, you're really busy. It's really hard to reach you because you're so busy. You know, it's like that is the word.
I'm just so busy.
Yeah, just so busy.
Man, am I busy.
And that busy doesn't make us happy.
No.
Actually, busy can exhaust us.
Yes.
Busy can cover up a loneliness we feel because we don't have a real deep meaning in life. We find ourselves going through the motion, and so we either look for entertainment or we look for something else that is going to fill a void. But if we stop just a little bit or slow down, we make room for God to be in that place that we feel void. And when God is there and we have a relationship with God in Christ, it fills us with life that is far beyond the moment. And he says he thinks that regardless of what religion you are part of or not, is that what you're really seeking is to be fully alive the way God created us to be. And to be fully alive is not to be exhausted as a way of life. To be fully alive is to think of life as an adventure, to not be afraid, to look forward to the next bend in the road, and what God may have in store for us, and people will meet, and how we can serve in a way that is really life-giving, not just to other people, but to us as well. So he says that experience of being really alive, that's what Jesus was talking about as being the kingdom of God.
You know, it's like, how can that be? You know, can something like that really be? Is it really possible, the things you're talking about? Do you really believe that it can be that way?
I think we can touch that and touch it more and more.
And you think McLaren, working through his book, will help us do that?
I think it will help us do it. I do.
Yeah.
Because when you really allow space, like for the next 2 weeks, we're just asking people to read 10 pages.
You know, 2 whole weeks of space.
Yeah, 2 whole weeks of space for 10 pages to plant seeds that we can reflect on, that we can engage with, that we can begin to look for God showing up in our everyday life.
You do believe this, don't you?
I do.
You really do.
I know. I'm really excited. I can't wait
can see
people
that
to
you are.
get started. I want people to get started.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You really mean it?
I do.
All right.
Well, you know I do.
I know you do.
Okay.
All right. Just checking.
Yes. So McLaren is on a wave with some other progressive people who are looking to the future and people who are noticing the present, which in a lot of our institutions, including religion, including church, that they are losing life-giving power. That people are going through the motions. They don't know how to. We constantly are looking how to bring people back to church. You know what? In God's world, we don't bring people back. We bring them to the next place God calls us.
Bring them forward.
Bring them forward.
There we go. We better write that
into
down.
a new way
A new road.
being. Yes, and a new way of being church. Because we keep saying that the church is the people, not the building. where God's calling us. He wants to show us that the church is the people, and it begins with me and God in Christ, begins with you and God in Christ, and it begins with us discussing that relationship of God in Christ.
Seems pretty ambitious, Phyllis.
Well, we've got eternity.
Not here, we don't.
Well, once we get started.
Okay.
Because we've got all the time in the world with God and in God, and we get closer and closer to God's heart, into God's heart, so that we breathe one breath and we beat with one heartbeat.
Okay.
That is God's realm on earth. Do you ever get glimpses of it?
Yeah. I've had mine. That's what keeps me going, to tell you the truth.
There you go.
Otherwise, I'd say there's nothing to it. That this is crazy. It's way ambitious. It's just some nice little book he's written, isn't it?
Exactly. So seeing a glimpse, does that call a time when you had such a glimpse of God's? I mean, just you saying, yes, you've had such a time.
I've had
glimpses of God's realm on earth.
Yeah.
Can you recall one now that you can share with us?
The only way, Abraham Heschel, the Jewish theologian, has written quite a bit. He talks about these kinds of things as ineffable experiences. In other words, you can't talk about it. There's no words for it. And he thinks they're like pearls on a string. They're spaced out. You may have one, and you could go for quite a while without anything, or maybe never again. Or you might have one, a pearl, a glimpse, a moment, an ineffable experience that is way beyond you, and it's the divine, or whatever, however you want to call it. So, yeah, I've had those, and I can't describe them. They happen.
I really appreciate that you shared that and that you struggled with words.
Yeah.
Because that's demonstrating that in entering that ineffable, that mysterious space where God is, that we are beyond words.
Oh, yeah, numinous is a word.
Yes.
But they keep me going, That's why I'm in this ministry business.
You know what I noticed?
I wouldn't be otherwise. Dang it up, forget this.
What I noticed.
Yes. I don't want any part of this stuff. Yeah, what did you notice?
What I noticed is that as human beings, is that we can, if you have an experience and it's not what it didn't meet your measure, what you expected or wanted, we can talk on hours for it. We can complain about it. We can say it right, didn't mean it. Yes, we can find all kinds of words. Exactly.
Yeah.
But then have an experience that moves you so deeply, and you either don't have words or it's just wow.
Yeah. And you're saying that working with this book may promote such a thing.
Exactly.
Or initiate, or what, I don't know what words I'm looking for.
Stimulate such an experience. That we make ourselves available for those experiences.
Okay. So, it could work.
It could work, yes.
That's my position right now, because I haven't gone through the book,
Oh, well, then you are up for a real treat.
Yeah.
Because, he meets you, and that's one nice thing about this book, too, is that McLaren meets you where you are on your faith journey. So, if you are a seeker who has, who wants to get to know God, and really hasn't had, like I had a roommate who was from China. He had no concept of God. And he said, tell me what it is you believe. How do you? And so that was a real challenge. Well, this book is for somebody like him. This book is for somebody who is seeking another kind of relationship with God, because their current relationship, either in a church or not in a church, either one, is either flat or it's wounded them. You know, it no longer brings them life. It's a book that is good for a new Christian. And it is a book that is really good for what I like to think of as a well-worn Christian. You know, somebody who's been a Christian all their life and they sort of think they've got it all worked out. You know, I know where I'm going after this life is over. I'm good with God. That's it. Well, this brings new life and revitalizes what we think is
it's going to be fun. It already is, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I think it is. Okay. So I think that gives us people a really good start as to what to expect with our times together. And so I'd just like to set us up for the next time we're going to be together. What is it that they should?
Here's what to do. Purchase the book. Get it to Amazon or Abe Books, like we said earlier. Get the book. Get one of the Bibles, the NRSV or the CEB. Bring the book and the Bible and a notepad to class, or make sure it's with you when you sign on online. Read chapters 40 and 41, pages 203 to 210. You can engage yourself with the questions at the end or not, but it will really help to read. And make a note in the margin, underline something, write down questions or comments, whatever. Just interact with the book, with the text. Get right in it and be prepared to have an experience. I believe.
I like that.
Who knows what it'll be? Who knows? But God knows.
I love that. Be prepared for an experience.
Yes. Say, oh man, here we go.
That is really good.
And then your feedback forms, they're online on the site. We need for you to fill those out when you're done with the next class and get them back to us. The one online, you can fill it out online and then save it and send it as an attachment, correct? Yeah.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
They can fill out that feedback form after watching this.
Ooh.
Yes, please do.
You sure?
I'm positive.
Okay.
We need your feedback.
You may not see me next time.
We'll see what happens.
If not, I really enjoyed it. Okay. See, God said, no, don't go that way, go over here. This is your road.
Don't say that.
I don't think so.
So
I got a say in it too, that's the thing.
Huh?
I have a say in where I go as well.
Yes,
That's
you
what
do.
He's saying. That's what God's saying.
Yes, exactly.
We'll talk this through ourselves.
So when you sign off from this time with us right now, please download that feedback form, fill it out online or on your computer, and then just email it to us at ReSourceOnline, @gmail.com.
Okay.
Let's say that again. It's ReSourceOnline1@gmail.com. We do want to let you know that we're looking forward to the time when it's truly interactive, when you can participate actively in our time together. As you can see, we're at the very basics. So the next time we're together, you'll be watching, and you can write a note to us, but we will be looking forward to the time when we can interact. But please join us on the 31st. We so appreciate your patience with us, and we look forward to making this road together by walking together in our journey with God in Christ.
So, in Hawaiian, until next time we meet, ahui ho!
Thanks for being with us.